All righty. So welcome back, everybody. So we're live. So how's everybody feeling coming back from spring break? You're all groggy, right? You're like, why couldn't we be on spring break for 2 weeks, right? So, well, what can you do? So at least we had a little bit of a pause. Hopefully you got some kind of a break. I know a lot of us still were working and doing stuff, but at least hopefully you got a little bit of break of doing school or actually physically having to come here. So, so here we are now, we're in week 10 of the semester. So the end is in sight. So that's at least a good thing, but now it's kind of when things start getting real. So like you could push stuff off till spring break, but now that spring breaks come, like it's hard to push stuff off any longer. So either way, we appreciate all of you coming here in person. We appreciate all of you online for joining us. So say again. I wasn't looking at anyone particularly. It was just a general overview of everyone's feelings. So, but so either way, before we went to spring break for MISA, we had our company information session. So we had Auto Nation come. It was a pretty good session. So if you didn't get to watch that one, like I said, go on the MISA website. We got the links to the YouTube videos where you can watch that. So this week we have our general meeting. So if you're new to MISA, we kind of alternate between company information sessions and then general meeting. So tonight we have the general meeting. And this session is one we've had for a while from MISA, but this is the first time now that we have a bunch of new programs. It's not just myself and the advising staff as well. So tonight we'll kind of talk about our brand new combined program. So you may hear from some of us, or maybe know from some of the past sessions, we've had a combined program just for our MIS to MSITM program for a long time. And now through some different changes that have went on at the university, now we have some opportunity to have some other combined programs, which is great because the more options you have, the better. Except for me, when I have options and it causes too much thoughts on everything, like going to the Cheesecake Factory, right? There's too many things on the menu. And it's like, oh, I could eat this. Oh no, well, this sounds good too. So, so hopefully we give you the opportunity to kind of present all the different options we have, and then you can kind of see what interests you and what works best, and then go from there. So tonight we have with us, it's going to be myself. We also have Dr. Carnavale as well over here. He's going to come up in a little bit. Hopefully we have Dr. Gu on. He's on. Yeah, he's there. So he'll be coming on a little bit later. Then we also have from our advising staff, we have Gilly. So she's our undergraduate advisor. So some of you I know maybe have worked with her specifically at the undergraduate level, or if you were interested in the regular combined program, you may have talked with her. And then we also have the amazing Michaela. So she's our graduate advisor from the College of Business. So a lot of you, maybe if you've been in the program for a while, you've worked with Michelle. So Michelle was on maternity leave, so she's back, but it's, first couple of days back, so she needs a little bit of break. But Michaela's been stepping in great and been handling those things. And so she's going to be jumping in tonight and kind of covering that session. But that's pretty much how this session will work. So we'll talk a little bit about the three programs. You'll get to hear from kind of each of us, and then we'll try to have some Q&A at the end, and then hopefully answer any questions you can. Awesome. Shannon, thanks for coming. So with that, like I said, we have three brand new programs. So within those programs, each one has their own director. So we kind of introduce some of the different folks when we talk about the advisors, but in terms of the faculty, like I said, myself, I'm just a regular program director, so I oversee the combined MIS to MSITM. Dr. Gu, who you'll see, he's the program director specifically for our Masters of Business Analytics and our combined undergrad to grad Masters of Business Analytics. And then we have Dr. Carnavale as well. So he's doing specifically our Master Supply Chain, and then also our combined program as well. So one of the themes that you'll see is we have these combined programs, but if for some reason they don't fit perfectly for your situation, we do have other options as well. So I want to always remind everybody as we're going through everything, as you're hearing it, if for some reason you're like, oh, this may not be the best fit, the reoccurring theme will be talk with the advisor, because our advisors are very flexible and they're good at coming up with very creative solutions. But worst case, we still have other options if you're interested in particular programs. So I just want to make sure you know that. So going further, like I said, we have three different programs. So we used to just have this first one, the MIS to MSITM. And so we've had that for a while. A lot of our students that are here in the session are in that program. Now, I guess we can consider that the legacy program, Gilly, right? That was our sort of legacy version. And so now we have three different options for students to choose. So depending on what your interest is and where you're going in terms of your career path or your educational path, we have the options for you. So like I said, we have three. It's MIS to MSITM. So the MSITM stands for our Master's in Information Technology and Management. We have the MIS to the MSBA. So the MSBA stands for the Master's in Business Analytics. And then the MSSCM is our Master's in Supply Chain Management. So those are our three we have. So they all start with the MIS degree. And what we'll have is I'll have each of the directors come talk specifically about their programs, because each one has a little bit of a difference, and you'll kind of see on that piece. But generally, you can do both your undergraduate MIS and your graduate master's degree in as little as 5 years. It can probably even be done faster than that, depending on how quickly you're going through, because now you'll see as we go through, there's going to be 4 classes that'll double count for you. So you have a really great opportunity. So in the old program, I know I'm hearing sighs in the room from the original MSITM, because in our old program, they only got 1 class that double counted, and that was cool at the time, right? But now, thanks to some changes through the administration, they've allowed us to have 4. So it's a really great opportunity for all of you. Like I said, sad tear for the legacy folk, but hey, what can you do? So you graduate, and at the end, you still have the same degree. So you can tell people that you got 4 classes that double counted. No one will know, right? So anyways, the other really great thing is you don't have to do the GMAT or GRE for any of the 3 programs, which is great, because for those of you that are interested in going to grad school, that's a requirement that you have to do. So it saves you time and money from having to go that route, and it allows you just to seamlessly go in from the undergrad to the grad pro, which is great. The last really great overview of the program is that you are eligible for the $2,000 Pathway Scholarship. For the Pathway Scholarship, allows you to get $1,000 when you're accepted into the program, and $1,000 when you finish the program at the graduate level, as long as it's in 2 years or less. And it's only eligible for students in the combined program. So it's a really great opportunity. I know some of the students who are here, for those of you that were in combined, were you able to take advantage of that? So it's a helpful little addition, and it's somewhat exclusive, because that's just for those combined students. So the first program, so I'll talk about the combined MIS to MSITM first, and then I'll pass it out to the other directors when we get to those programs. But the first is our sort of our original MIS to MSITM. So this has been adjusted as well. So all 3 programs allow you to get 4 classes to get double count. So essentially, it will allow you to take 4 graduate classes while you're still an undergraduate student. And those graduate classes count both towards your undergraduate degree and then also for your graduate degree. So it's a really great opportunity. So for the MIS to MSITM, all 3 programs follow the MIS degree. The only difference that you'll see with the MIS to MSITM is you have to do the information technology path of the MIS program. So there's 2 paths for MIS. We have the information technology and the knowledge management. So for the combined MIS to MSITM, you have to do the info tech path. And so that program requires you to take our Java, our data communications, our database management, and then everybody takes the advanced system analysis and design. So this is specifically focused more for those that are interested in the IT side of business, and really maybe not necessarily going into specifically for business analytics, but we do have some concentrations in that piece. So there's some options that you have between those 2 programs. So yeah, question. So in the old program, so his question was what happened to the cybersecurity concentration? So in our old combined programs, you had to choose the IT path, and you had to choose the either cybersecurity or business analytics concentration. So now with these new programs, because there's 4 classes that double count, we no longer require you to have a concentration. So if you wanted to do a concentration, you have to try to work with your advisor to see if it's possible, because we want to make sure you have enough classes that double count. And especially if you're doing the cybersecurity concentration, it's a little bit harder, because those classes aren't one of the 4 classes that are double counting. So you still could be possible, but that's no longer a restriction anymore, if that makes sense. So I know, sad tear. Well, it's a sad tear and a happy tear, because for some students, it was really challenging to get the concentration, because it's one extra hoop that you have to jump through to get in the program. So that's an opportunity as well. So good question. So once you're in the graduate program, you can choose 2 concentrations. You can choose our traditional information technology management concentration, or you can choose the business analytics. So this is where, when you see the master's in business analytics, that combined program, it's a little bit different, because like I said, this is business analytics with more of the IT focus, where the master's in business analytics you'll see is more on an overall business analytics focus without as much of a focus on the IT piece. So that's where some of the distinctions go. Same benefits, so all the programs will have the same, no GMAT, GRE. You can have up to 4 classes that you take at the graduate level that count both for your undergrad and your grad. So essentially, it gives you the opportunity at the graduate level. It's 10 classes that you have to take, or 30 credits. So it allows you to have 4 that are taken at the undergraduate level that are grad. So essentially, you can go down from taking 10 classes to only having 6 classes left at the graduate level. So you could pretty much do it in like 2 semesters, the graduate component, if you timed it out perfectly. Whereas before that, you may have had to do it within like 4 or 5 semesters, depending on how you structured it. In terms of admission, so to get into this program, for all 3 programs, you have to have an undergraduate FAU GPA of 3.25 or higher. And then here you have to choose the information technology path for this program. And you need a 3.25 or higher in your information technology courses. So this is where you have to work with your advisors a little bit, because we want to make sure we catch you early enough. So you may only have 1 or 2 classes max from that grouping that we'll actually look at as your GPA, but that will be something where thankfully we have Gilly to be able to assist in that piece, and we do some customization to help in that case. So that's the overall sort of view of it. We have 2 different flow charts, so I don't want to go too much in the weeds because I want to make sure I have enough time for the other directors and such to talk more about their programs. But depending on your path, we have some options for you to be able to go forward with this. So you'll have certain classes that you'll take at the undergraduate level, and then you'll have certain classes that you have to take the graduate version, and that way you can get the double count. So this is where you'll work with Gilly and you'll work with Michaela and Michelle to be able to put your plan of study together perfectly. So that way, when you're registering for the classes, you can take advantage of all 4 classes at double count and get the best, essentially, bang for your buck. So we have one for the traditional information technology management concentration, and then we have a separate one for the business analytics. So depending on which one you're interested in, we have those 2 paths for you. And pretty much we have this information on the website. So I'll kind of show you at the end if anybody has specific questions about the paths and which classes to take. Those options are there. But like I said, we have them up on the website, so you can check it out at any time. So that's the combined MIS to MSITM. So I'll go ahead and pass it over to my colleague Gu online. So he's hanging out with all of you online to talk about the combined MIS to MSBA program. So Dr. Gu, it's all yours now.
Thank you, Dr. Sweet. I think Dr. Sweet did a perfect job, delivering basic straight up the this combined programs, and also provided the good foundations what these the combined programs requires, even give more opportunity to our students to accelerate their dreams to become the master level graduate. So by law the same as the the combined MIS to ITM programs, but I think there is some distinction between the 2. No offense, but thanks to the that there is complicated concentrations in the ITM programs, and we don't have those. So basically, we have some more flexibility in choosing and the counting the 4 courses taken in the undergraduate programs to be used in the master's level programs. And mainly because, as the Dr. Sweet mentioned, the MSBA programs trying to relax from the some IT focused or IT driven courses in this MSBA, more of the generic type of courses that really speaks to the business analytics. So that's basically the idea of the this combined MIS to MSBA programs. Can you switch to advance to the next slide, please? So likewise, the MS combined MIS to MSc programs provided this kind of flow chart. And as you can clearly see that we have a lot of rooms to breathe in this table. So that basically means that you have more flexibility built into your coursework and your curriculums to quickly move into the master level. So this is the guided, the steps to take the courses, offered by within this MSBA program. But again, idea is pretty much the same, and our hope is to give more opportunity to our students to quickly get the master level program without bothering with this and any kind of admission requirements like a GMAT or GLE and that kind of stuff. And so that's a good benefit for our students. I think that's pretty much about it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much, Dr. Gu. So we pass it over to Dr. Carnevale, and he'll talk about the combined MIS to Masters in Supply Chain.
It's a hard act to follow, but I'll give it a shot. Nice to see everybody in person and online. So who's heard of supply chain before? Oh, good. Makes my job a little easier. I think that COVID gave us kind of an opportunity, unfortunately, to showcase what supply chain, how important it is and what happens when it fails. And this program I recently joined, and I think the benefit of this program in general, and specifically to the Combined Path program, is that's built on the back of and the logic of a solid MIS undergrounding. What I mean by that is if you think about supply chain management, it's basically 5 different things: plan, source, make, deliver, and return. All of which depends upon strong, working, functioning, and coherent management information systems. So with that said, this pathway from your undergraduate degree in management information systems, pivoting over into the graduate degree in supply chain, it's a solid specialty, double-digit growth in terms of jobs, of demand, particularly as things get even more digital. It's going to become an incredibly important path. So I'm very happy to see that. And this happened all before I joined. I have the benefit of talking about it without the work that Jonathan and everybody else had to deal with. So I won't repeat everything here. The benefits are pretty much the same. If you desire to specialize in supply chain, there's not the minutia of getting into the GRE and the GMAT, which is a soul-sucking endeavor. Of that I can tell you. And I had recently learned about this pathway scholarship, which is a fabulous thing. So if you can take advantage of it and you are interested in supply chain, I obviously highly encourage it. Similar kind of flow. As far as double counting goes, the courses are flipped. So we've got the group that you take 3 of them in is our tech management group. If you do decide to go down this path, just as a plug, I'd highly recommend taking, of the 3 that you choose, I would take supply chain management. I would take, plug for myself, my class in analytics, because you're going to have to do one way or the other. And then I'd recommend the project management course as the 3 foundation double dip courses. It's going to give you a good grounding. And then you pivot over into the 1 as far as the business analytics courses that you can take. I'd highly recommend, where is it? Data management and analysis with Excel. Those courses cumulatively will give you a solid grounding for the degree. Otherwise, you've got a whole suite of courses that are required. Yeah, and that's it. Awesome.
Hey.
Hey, no one else got a clap.
Yeah, there you go.
You're
You got
all
the
weak.
celebrity, right?
Rather
That's
be-
what it is.
yeah.
See, Gu, how are we going to compete with this, right? All right. So in terms of which combined program is best for you and me, right? So what's going to be the best for you or your individual situation? The answer, which is the classic higher ed answer, is it depends, right? So depending on what your interest is, that's really, like I talked about before, we have options. So if you're interested more in working in IT, being an IT manager, being an IT administrator, if you see yourself more on the IT side of things, right, the combined MIS to MSITM is going to be a better fit because you have more of the traditional IT focus with your core. If you're like, hey, you know what, I just want to be a business analyst, I'm not really as interested in the IT side. I like it. I can maybe take a couple courses, but I really am focused more on the analytics piece. Then the combined MIS to MSBA is going to be a better option for you. And then obviously, if you're like, hey, I want to work as a logistician, I want to work in operations, supply chain, I really like inventory, I like management on that piece. Maybe not as much as the IT side, but maybe a little bit of the analytics. Then the combined MIS to MSSCM is going to be a good option. So really, essentially, the great thing is if you're in that dilemma of, hey, which one do I go through? Come talk to any of us. So you can talk with me, you can talk with Dr. Carnevale and Dr. Gu as well. And we can kind of tell you what are some of the job outlooks, what are the classes about, what are they like, you know, what do we cover in the material, and that can give you a really great idea of where to go. So with that, now you have all 3. So how do we kind of get started and go forward with, you know, learning more about the program, maybe applying? figuring out sort of that process. So now we pass it off to our real shining stars, our academic advisor. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to Gilly. She's our undergraduate advisor that specifically works with our combined program. So Gilly, I hand it off to you. Go ahead and take it away. Oh, we lost Gilly. Oh, you're on mute,
No,
Gilly.
she's mute.
Oh, there we
muted.
go. It's all good.
It's okay, Gilly.
Sorry. Hello, once again. Yeah, so basically, once you've decided that you're interested in any of these combined programs, please schedule an appointment with me. We'll review your file. We'll see your qualifications for the program, your professional endeavors, and to see if this might be a really good fit for you. My goal is always to have the student feel happy and confident in their path. And so, of course, I would like to, I'd like to spend time with you talking. So an appointment really is the best bet so that you can have the time to review everything with me. And then, of course, once you're ready to apply, I will be moving you forward to Michaela or Michelle.
Awesome.
So basically, after you meet with me and you're deemed to be eligible, ideally, it's going to happen at the end of your junior year. Of course, we do have seniors coming in, just learning about the program, wanting to know more about it. And if we can kind of fit it some way into the curriculum, we definitely would do that. Maybe it won't be possible to apply all 4 classes, but if I can apply 1 or 2 classes, you're still ahead of the game. Basically, once again, so you would apply as soon as you're eligible, as soon as you have the needed GPA. And like I said, I would walk you through the process and then forward you to the graduate advisors.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a concierge service, essentially.
Oh, yes.
You have support where normally you would have your advisors that would be assisting you, but here you have more of a specialized focus because you're going into this program that's very strategic on when you need to do certain things and when you need to take stuff. So that's another encouragement for all of you, is that you have the support of your advisors to help you through the process, so you're not going through it alone.
And as Dr. Sweet mentioned, we do get creative. So to help you out and best benefit from these programs. And basically, when you are ready, I will be forwarding you this link. You just have to ensure that you are selecting the combined structure. Otherwise, it goes to the general graduate college. We want to make sure that we receive your application, and you basically just follow the steps that are listed on this page. And of course, if you have any questions or need additional assistance, we're always there to assist you with that. And if we have to track it, we will. So sometimes it's sent to the wrong place, but we find a way to get a hold of it.
Awesome. And when you go on the graduate college's website for this, there's like 2 check boxes. So you'll check a box here when you get to degree information that says check that you're in a combined, and then there's a second check box. So it's like they want to make sure you're really in the combined program. Like, are you sure?
It's
So
really
once
what you
you-
want.
So they are going to be updating the graduate college because we informed them that the drop down list is missing things. So if you were looking at our regular combined MIS to MSITM, those are okay. And then they said they're fixing the ones between the Masters of Supply Chain and Analytics because there's 2 options. So they said it's they're reaching out their IT department. So if you get to that point and that thing's still messed up, like I said, just talk with us at that point, and we'll make sure that if you applied to one, then they'll change it in the system for the other one. So awesome.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Michaela. Nice to meet everyone. I'm the Michelle Jr. at this point, honestly. So nice to meet everyone. But I wanted to say really quick, if you do apply accidentally for the wrong one, it happens all the time. We essentially have to admit you to the program anyways. So it's an easy fix. It's an easy switch. So don't stress about it. Also, when you click that combine button, it waives the $30 fee as well. So just make sure you do click that if you are a combined student. So these deadlines are kind of here or there. Of course, we have students that might be interested at the last second. So we do, as Dr. Sweet mentioned, we are a concierge in a sense of if you forget to apply or something like that, and it's like past November 1st, it's like November 2nd or whatever, we'll work with you directly. We have the international students deadline a little sooner because of the I-20, the visa, all that stuff. But since essentially most of you are already here at FAU and in the United States, it shouldn't be an issue. But The sooner you apply, the better, because then we can get everything rolling and we can go through the overrides and holds way before registration, because I'm sure everyone knows how hectic registration can be. So we want to make sure all those overrides and everything are in between Gilly and myself or Michelle, whoever needs to put the overrides in. So that's basically that. Once admitted into the program, of course, so these are the undergraduate requirements, and that's what you, the student applicant, will go through with Gilly. So you'll go through all the classes that you need, the replacement courses, and then you'll come to me about the graduate requirements. So the graduate part is a little bit more flexible than the undergraduate, in a sense of, I'm sure Dr. Sweet can understand that if a class is not being offered, if you want to start in the summer term for sure, and there's only like 2 classes offered, we can work with that, and we'll always find a solution to your, not problem, to your next step. We'll always find a solution to that next step. So don't be discouraged. You do need to keep a 3.0 in the entire graduate program, and we'll go through that more once admitted to the program. I did want to say, when you apply with Gilly in the first step, you're not applying for the semester that you're graduating. You're applying for that next semester. So if you do graduate this spring 2023, you're applying for either summer or fall 2023. So if you do make a mistake, of course, it always happens. We edit it with the graduate college, but I just did want to inform you on that step.
Awesome.
Okay, and this is one of the great options that the combined students do have. So you will receive a $2,000 pathway scholarship. And basically, it'll be applied to your account when you're a full-time grad. So when you're still an undergrad, that last semester, to say you're in your second or third last semester, you won't have it. It's when you're fully grad, fully on our side. You'll get the first $1,000, and then now that the program's only 10 classes instead of 11, if you want to finish in 3 semesters, you totally can. So you'll get it your first semester and you'll get it your last semester. And we really want students to, because I've heard mixed things, but now the requirement is to have the student apply for this graduate, for the scholarship right before classes begin in the term fully grad. So that's kind of like a confusing gray area, but if you have any questions about that, of course, if you submit it, totally fine. Samiko in the graduate college gets it, but they want it a little bit sooner towards the semester you're actually going to start. So there's that.
Awesome.
And back to you, Dr. Sweet.
And actually, if I can just add one thing, because Michaela reminded me. Basically, also when we get you ready to apply for the program, it's important that it's done before you apply for your bachelor degree. And this is what Michaela was highlighting, because we don't want to do it in reverse. Otherwise, you're not considered as part of a combined program because you technically are graduated and then you're applying, especially because you apply for the semester following your final semester of you still completing your undergraduate. So basically what would happen is if you're in a scenario when you're applying all 4 classes towards your undergraduate degree, you basically want to make sure that you're going to be applying for your degree at the semester when you finish, but you also want to apply it after you applied for the combined degree. So that's basically it. I just wanted to add that little point. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks to both of you. So the last, we kind of talk about some of our success stories. So we actually, it's kind of amazing, even in the room right now, we have so many that are currently in the program that we also have our alums here as well. So it's kind of funny because I didn't intentionally plan to have this, but we have 2 of the alums actually right here in the session. So we have Shannon Stewart, or now I should say Professor Shannon Stewart here. And then we have Professor Al Campbell over there in the back. So we have both of them over there. So we got, did you get to hear the little whoop whoop? So, so these are some of our students that were specifically in the combined program and where they've ended up. So obviously you've heard a lot from Shannon from ModMed. You've heard a lot from Al. He's come into a lot of our sessions. And then we also have some, like I said, that have been at Microsoft, that have been, like I said, chief information officers. We have some that have worked at Office Depot, LexisNexis. The list kind of goes on. And then obviously each semester we have new students that are graduating, and they're always going into just amazing places. And I'm just always completely in awe of how pretty much if I went down the list of all of our combines, they're probably all like 99% of them are all just doing amazing things in their roles. So it's just a really great program to be in. And really, it's just a great opportunity to take advantage of it, because a lot of them can tell you, and hopefully we'll have some time at the end where you can hear from some of the folks that are in the current program. It's just a great opportunity to take advantage of your master's while you're still in the mode of doing school, because it's very hard. And I hear it from students all the time that you're just like, oh, well, I just want to go graduate and go work and do that whole thing. And that works for some. But for a lot of folks, once you leave and you get out of the rhythm, life happens, and it's hard to come back to get in that mode of doing a master's program. So hopefully you can use some of these success stories to encourage you and kind of spur you on to really consider going into the program, because it's a really great benefit. So with that, that's pretty much the end of the info session part of it. So now we can go ahead and stop the recording, and then we can open it up for Q&A from anybody.